So there are certain things we have to keep in mind. The flowers should always be fresh, because we have studied in the initial 4 chapters, we have studied about the production in flowering plants, that the pollens have a limited viability. Viability means the germinability, that is what how much time they will retain the ability to germinate, otherwise they will become dead. Okay, so if we do not take fresh flowers, the flowers are lying there for many hours, then maybe the pollens, they become non-viable and they do not germinate. Okay, ideally this last slide should be a cavity slide. Okay, so last time we did not have, but last year only we had ordered this cavity slide, so now you all will be able to use cavity slides in our lab. So now we need to know why these components have been provided. These components, when added together in 100 ml of water, will make the nutrient media for pollen germination. Now, out of this, sucrose, you know, is very, very important. But because sucrose acts as that chemical stimulus, which causes the elongation of the germ, of that germ tube, okay, of the pollen tube. This boric acid, magnesium sulfate, potassium nitrate, all of them, and most importantly, boric acid out of it is very important, because this helps in elongation of the pollen tube. The initiation of the pollen tube formation takes place with the help of sucrose. Okay, and more quickly the pollen tube will elongate because of the presence of boric acid. So sometimes in some of the books they had simply used sucrose and boric acid without adding these two things together. Okay, and if you don't have these things together, then even a 10% sucrose solution will be sufficient. You will be able to observe germination of, you will be able to see the pollen tube formation, although the elongation of the pollen tube will not be so great as with a nutrient media having all these things together. Okay, 10 milligrams, it is required in very small amount. Another mistake, see here, they have broken down the entire anther. We have to use a brush, a 0 number brush, and then very softly we have to brush the anther so that only the pollens fall down. Otherwise you will see just black big patches of these anthers on your slide. So we have to be very careful. A good slide making means the sample is kept right in the center, it is not on the sides, because you get marks for slide making. So these are how the slide making marks are distributed. The sample should be right in the center, then no anthers should be there. Okay, only pollen grains should be there. Okay, so that means obviously you will not keep observing continuously. After every 5 minutes or every 10 minutes, you go and observe your slide and note down your observation. This is what I see. No pollen tube formation after 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Okay, now pollen tube germination has started. I can see the pollen grains becoming bigger and a yellowish substance developing on their outer side, and then a small pollen tube coming out. Okay, and then how much pollen tube has elongated after the next 10 minutes, you can observe that. So general question which comes in exam, how many nuclei are present inside the pollen tube? So there are 3 nuclei present. One is the tube nucleus and 2 are the nucleuses of the male gametes. Okay, so remember this. Okay, so that's it. Now the next thing is, what do you actually observe under a slide? Wait, let me play this video and then I'll show it to you. I just need not even what you actually observe. This is how the pollen grains, even our pollen grains were looking the same. The color of the pollen grain may differ. It is almost rounded for all the plants. So till now, whatever different types of flowers I have seen, sometimes you get red colored, yellow colored. So the color of pollen grain will be different, but this is how it will observe. You will see it under a microscope. And let us see what are the changes you will see from time to time. When you observe it for half an hour, what are the changes you will observe? See here, thickening. They are taking up the solution. They are becoming a bit thicker. Their size is increasing. Again, enlargement in the size taking place. Can you see this? The small pollen tube, it started emerging from the germ pore. Okay, and soon such a same type of pollen tube will start emerging in all the pollen grains. So this type of a pollen tube will start emerging. So at this point, you note down the time. Okay, after 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 15 minutes, a small pollen tube development started. Okay. See, the pollen tube is extending further. In others also, the pollen tube development has started. Okay, here. So the timing may be different, but pollen tube eventually will be formed in maturity of the pollen grain. This is how it will proceed. This elongation is possible only when the boric acid and other magnesium sulfate, etc. is put.
Ma'am?
Yes, Aditya?
Ma'am, just the difference in plant and in experiment is कि in plant there is unidirectional movement of pollen tubes.
Yes.
And in this solution like कहीं पे भी हो जाएगा, ये solution तो हर जगह है.
Yes, obviously, because it depends upon the stimulus. Na? Here the stimulus is dying everywhere. It is surrounded by that stimuli. So it can be in any direction. There the stimulus is towards the thalamus, towards the ovary. So that is why it goes down, because it's a chemotropic movement. Okay. Here, yes.
मैम एक्साइन का पोरस होने का रीजन ये भी होता है ना, क्योंकि आगे जाके उसको पोलन ट्यूब बनानी होती है.
एक्साइन के क्या करने का?
मैम एक्साइन वी नो कि आपका क्या अनडिस्ट्रक्टेबल सब्सटेंसेस हमने पाया है जो
टफेस्ट सब्सटेंस होता है, टफेस्ट नोन सब्सटेंस होता है, उसको कोई ब्रेक नहीं कर सकता एक्साइन को.
यस मैम, तो मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि उसका पोरस होने का रीजन यही है ना, क्योंकि आगे जाके उसको
यस, क्योंकि अल्टीमेटली उस पोर में से ही जर्म ट्यूब निकलेगी. जर्म ट्यूब इज नॉट अराइजिंग जस्ट फ्रॉम एनीवेयर, इट इज अराइजिंग ओनली फ्रॉम द जर्म पोर. वहीं से बाहर निकल सकती है और कहीं से निकल ही नहीं सकती है. जहां पे इंटैक्ट एक्साइन होगा वहां से निकलेगी नहीं पोलन ट्यूब. Okay, so this is how the development will take place. यही है बस, till the end only they will show the increase of the pollen tube. हो सकता है अगर आपको simple sucrose solution मिलता है, then maybe you do not see such long pollen tube formation. लेकिन अगर proper nutrient media मिलेगा, then half an hour, 50 after 40 minutes, you may see such long pollen tube formation. And apart from that, इसमें एक और experiment can be added, the pollen viability. ओके, सो आपको फील्ड में जितने भी पोलन, आपका लाइक द फील्ड ऑफ व्यू ऑफ माइक्रोस्कोप, उसमें जितने भी पोलन ग्रेन्स मिल रहे हैं, उनमें से कितनों में जर्म ट्यूब बनी, हाउ मेनी ऑफ देम डेवलप्ड अ जर्म ट्यूब. ओके, पोलन ट्यूब कितने में बनी, you have to count. If suppose your the number of pollen tubes formed, or total number of pollens you could observe were 10, out of that only 5 formed the pollen tube. इसका मतलब बाकी 5 में क्यों नहीं बनी, मे बी दे वर नॉन वाइबल. Okay, so the percentage viability will be 5 upon 10 into 100. That is 50% pollen viability. तो pollen viability का percentage viability compare करने के लिए भी same procedure can be used. ठीक है, कि आपको pollen grains में how much viability is there. So you must know both things to do. Diagram बनाना होता है इसका, because these are two experiment. इन दो में से एक slide जरूर आएगी. Okay, so what I'll do is when we do like even mitosis we can do. So I'll keep one onion today for sprouting, और अगर उसका हो जाता है तो same way I'll tell you first. I'll demonstrate it to you. आपको microscope में तो दिख नहीं सकता है. Even I don't have all that nutrient media. So in short, I'll demonstrate what are the steps to be taken. Okay. Then I'll show a video of how to carry out those steps in a lab, and then what to observe under the microscope. Would that be okay with you all? Are you able to understand by this method? If we do the experiments, then once you learn how to do the experiment, then it's a matter of 1 week. We can do all the experiments, perform them in the class ourselves in 1 week. Okay, at least you'll have a good idea. This is what I'm expected to see, and this is the way I have to do it. Okay? Yes, Aditya.
Yes, ma'am. इसमें हम एक और experiment मतलब out of the core है. इसमें हम एक और experiment भी तो कर सकते हैं कि हमने bottom में सिर्फ एक न्यूट्रिएंट डाला. एक में एक बार बोरिक एसिड डाल के देखा, एक में सुक्रोज का सॉल्यूशन डाल के देखा.
हाँ, बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. तो इस तरीके का आप लोग अपना वो क्यों नहीं बनाते, प्रोजेक्ट्स क्यों नहीं बनाते? Think of such idea, Aditya. It's such a wonderful idea for making a bio project also. इसमें पूरा इन्वेस्टिगेटरी प्रोजेक्ट बन सकता था कि एक बार बोरिक एसिड डाल करके देखा कितनी ग्रोथ आ गई, आई नहीं आई, कितना एलोंगेशन हो रहा है सेम प्लांट के पोलन ट्यूब्स का, और उसको साइमल्टेनियसली सुक्रोज में किया, फिर बाकी मीडिया डाला. एंड अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट व्हेन यू सी ऑन नेट, आप इंटरनेट पे एक बार सर्च करके देखो, तो दिस इज नॉट द ओनली न्यूट्रिएंट मीडिया व्हिच इज अवेलेबल. पीईजी डाल के, पॉलीइथाइलिन ग्लाइकोल डाल के भी, इट इज सेड कि पॉलीइथाइलिन ग्लाइकोल भी बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ा देता है पोलन ट्यूब फॉर्मेशन को. ओके, सो वी कैन कंपेयर कि कौन ज्यादा बढ़ा रहा है पोलन ट्यूब फॉर्मेशन को, बोरिक एसिड या पीईजी. ओके, तो हम अलग अलग न्यूट्रिएंट मीडिया का कंपैरिजन भी कर सकते थे कि व्हिच वन इज बेटर. ओके, अनफॉर्चुनेटली बिकॉज ऑफ दिस लॉकडाउन, अगर आपने ये स्कूल चल रहा होता, ये बात कही होती, मैंने कहा फॉरगेट अबाउट आदित्य, पुराने एक्सपेरिमेंट्स, ये वाला बनाओ प्रोजेक्ट. ओके, सो such kind of innovations should be done. ऐसे प्रोजेक्ट्स के बारे में, दिस इज व्हाट आई वांटेड कि आप लोग सोचो इन्वेस्टिगेटरी, हम किस पे इन्वेस्टिगेशन करना है, सिर्फ कॉपी पेस्ट मत करो अपने प्रोजेक्ट्स को. ओके, दिस वाज अ वंडरफुल इन्वेस्टिगेटरी प्रोजेक्ट. Okay, so let us proceed now. The next thing we have to do is microbes in human welfare. Okay, so you can open your NCRTs. First, I'll tell you about what you mean by I've given you a brief of this chapter. Okay, so although things are not given in too much detail in your NCRTs, हम लोग थोड़ा सा डिटेल में जाके करेंगे as is our habit. Okay, so microbes in human welfare. First of all, they are talking about the microbes which are used in household products. Now, this is something I want to know from you all. Which all microbes are used in household products? What all household products do we get? हमने कल भी discuss किया था in short. Okay, so you tell me what all types of microbes can be used and what all products do we get from these microbes? Yes? Yes, Aditya? Okay, I'll do one thing. Can I ask ma'am to unmute you all, and then you keep yourself muted, and whenever you want to speak, you can unmute yourself and speak. Okay, because I can trust my class 12 students. They will not cause any kind of disturbance in the class. Okay, so ma'am, please unmute everybody, and you all mute yourself. All of you mute yourself. Okay, so mute yourself. And then when you have to speak, you unmute and then speak. Okay, Aditya, so whenever you want to speak, you can unmute and speak. Yes, Richa, you want to speak something? You're unmuted. Richa, Rajan and Kunal, please mute yourself and speak one by one. Kunal and Richa, mute yourself, bache. Yes, Aditya.
Ma'am, we got to first for the fermentation जिसकी ढोकला वगैरह बनता है तो उसमें जिसमें कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड का रिलीज होता है.
Okay, okay.
Alcohol की चीज लेगी. Lactobacillus curd.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, next, Richa, you had unmuted yourself. You want to speak something?
in cheese also the bacteria are used.
Al, you had unmuted. You want to speak something?
In the daily food production, like
Yes, in large number of dairy products like buttermilk. It is used in production of buttermilk also. In case of sour cream production, some of the people love eating sour cream. So sour cream production, it can be used.
breads.
Yes, breads formation. Yes, it can be used in bread formation. Then who else had unmuted? Rajan, you had unmuted, beta. Unmute yourself and speak.
Like drinks, fermented drinks.
Okay. Kunal, mute yourself. So in fermented products also, these microbes can be used. Okay. So Rajan, please mute yourself. So let us proceed. What are the different types of microbes that can be used? First is the microbes which are used for making curd, household product. One very common product is curd. So I'll just use a board. I'll quickly write down the names and you can note down these. So microbes in household products. Okay, so what are the microbes that can be used in household products? The first can be, it can be used for production of curd. Now there are certain things जिसमें से बहुत सारे questions आते हैं. Okay, so what is the common microbe that is used for production of curd? It is Lactobacillus acidophilus. Lactobacillus acidophilus. Okay, now what happens when milk is converted to curd? This question has come in board so many times. Why is curd considered nutritionally superior to milk also? Okay, why is it considered nutritionally superior? Can anybody tell me? See, what is present? Lactic acid is present, and lactic acid is an organic acid. So when the milk is converted into curd, the amount of organic acids increase the nutritional content of the curd. Okay, then it is seen that when milk is converted into curd, then the amount of B12. So first thing which is increasing is the amount of organic acid. Organic acids increase. Second important thing which happens when milk is converted to curd is increase in vitamin B12 content. Microbes are there and they are converting it into vitamin B12, the lactose into vitamin B12, and when we eat this curd, we get the deficiency of vitamin B12 can be overcome. Then is the other thing is it is providing us it is acting as a probiotic. And what is a probiotic? The probiotic is a substance which provides us with useful bacteria. And as I told you, useful bacteria, when they are present in larger amount, they check the growth of disease-causing pathogens. हमारी body में सारी चीजें हैं, disease-causing pathogens भी हैं and useful bacteria भी हैं. But because of competition for food, for space between useful and harmful bacteria, the more the amount of useful bacteria, they will keep the amount of harmful bacteria under control, under check. So it acts as a probiotic and it increases, it keeps the number of harmful bacteria under control. Okay, so these are the importance of curd. Why is curd nutritionally superior to milk? Okay, the next is yogurt. Okay, so what is yogurt? Yogurt is also formed. It is a yes. Yes, ma'am.
It is often.
Yes, Kunal, you want to say something?
Yes, ma'am. It is often said that by adding sugar into curd, ma'am, amount of bacteria increases, and by adding salt, it decreases.
But sugar is something just like we add sugar in yeast. Yeast की grow करने के लिए हमें क्या add करना पड़ता है? We add sugar because that acts as a substrate. अगर milk में grow कर रहे हैं bacteria, lactobacillus is growing. So what is it feeding upon? It is feeding upon not on NaCl. It is feeding upon lactose, which is the milk
Yes,
sugar.
sugar.
ठीक है,
Yes,
तो
ma'am.
वो feeding इस पे कर रहा है, वो feed कर रहा है sugars पर. So if sugar content is increased, then obviously the amount of the bacteria, more bacteria will grow. Okay. Then is और salt तो in fact और bacterial growth को कम करेगा. Okay, because it will act, it will create an osmotic pressure. तो इसलिए बहुत ज्यादा salt डाल के तो कर्ड को खाना भी नहीं चाहिए. Okay, yes, Aditya, want to say something? Unmute yourself and speak better. Kunal, please mute yourself. Yes, Aditya.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, in NCERT it is given in our stomach too. The lab play very beneficial role in checking disease-causing microbes. So, ma'am, how?
The repeat.
In our
Lab
stomach,
means lactic acid bacteria.
the lab play very beneficial role in checking disease-causing microbes. How?
This is what I told you. It is acting as a probiotic, na? Lactobacillus acidophilus or lactic acid bacteria are acting as a probiotic because they are harmless to us. Okay, and since they are harmless to us, and when their amount increases inside our body, they keep the harmful bacteria under check, under control. Okay,
And
so
ma'am, one
by
more
acting as a probiotic. Yes.
ma'am, when milk is converted to curd, so ma'am जो उसकी milk protein की chain होती है वो भी टूटती है. मैम जब मिल्क कर्ड में चेंज होता है तब उसकी
Yes.
जो मिल्क प्रोटीन चेन है वो भी शॉर्ट होती है, मतलब टूटती है.
See, milk proteins पे फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. That is why when curd is formed, then whey proteins are separated out. जो curd में जो ऊपर water separate हो जाता है, that is a very rich source of proteins, whey proteins. ठीक है? So they do get separated out with that water, but content बहुत ज़्यादा फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा till the time the proteins are degraded. It is not the proteins which are being decomposed by bacteria. It is the sugars which are being decomposed. ठीक है, तो प्रोटीन कंटेंट तो हाई हो रहा है और शुगर्स का कंटेंट जो आगे जाके मे बी फैट फॉर्मेशन में हेल्प करे वो और कम हो रहा है. सो दैट इज व्हाई इट इज अगेन दिस इज न्यूट्रिशनली सुपीरियर. ऑर्गेनिक एसिड बन गए और ऑर्गेनिक एसिड के साथ साथ प्रोटीन कंटेंट हायर हो गया और ग्लूकोज कंटेंट, शुगर कंटेंट रिड्यूस. ओके ओके, एनीथिंग एल्स? Should I proceed? So next is yogurt. Yogurt is formed by Streptococcus thermophilus and Lactobacillus bulgaris. Streptococcus thermophilus and Lactobacillus. What I'll do is I'll convert my notes into PDFs and then from tomorrow I'll be using that PDF. Bulgaricus. Okay, so Streptococcus thermophilus and Lactobacillus bulgaricus, they are used for making yogurt, and then it has the flavor of both lactic acid and acetaldehyde. Because of the combination of these two types of bacteria used, the yogurt has the flavor of both acid and of acetaldehyde. Okay, then the next is buttermilk. Most other detail it is not there in your NCERT, but there are some of the bacteria which I feel you should know. So third household product is buttermilk. So this buttermilk, it is that first the skimmed milk is taken, and then this skimmed milk is treated with various bacteria in order to convert it into this buttermilk. So I repeat, first is skimmed milk is taken, and then this skimmed milk is treated with various bacteria to convert it into buttermilk. And these types of bacteria which are made to treat the skimmed milk are Streptococcus criminosus, Cerimoris, Streptococcus cerimoris. Then it is Streptococcus lactic, Then it can be Lactobacillus acidophilus, and last can be Leuconostoc. If you are not able to remember all, just remember one bacteria and for one type of product. Okay. So when they are treated with these bacteria, then what happens? The skim milk converts into buttermilk. Okay. Then is so that means we can say that a mild acidic form of acidic liquid is buttermilk. Because of the treatment of these bacteria, the acidic content of the milk increases, and we call it as buttermilk. Okay. Then is next is sour cream. Streptococcus lactis is used for creation. Streptococcus lactis plus Leuconostoc. So Streptococcus lactis plus Leuconostoc, they are used for the production of sour cream. One more household product. Okay. Then the most important part, the first most important household product, जिस पे बहुत questions आते हैं board में, is curd. Nutritional content, how is it better than milk? इस पे बहुत questions आते हैं. Okay, and the bacteria which is used. Second सबसे ज़्यादा question household product पे आते हैं cheese. Okay, so let us see how cheese formation takes place. The cheese formation, it takes place. First of all, cheese can be of various types. So when we talk about cheese can be of various types. It can be raw cheese. Then second, it can be unripened cottage cheese. Unripened cottage cheese. Then the third can be the ripened cheese. Okay, so cheese can be of three types. It can be raw cheese, it can be unripened cottage cheese, or it can be the ripened cheese. Now, what do you mean by raw cheese? How is raw cheese formed? In this, first of all, the milk is mixed with curd or lemon juice, and the curdling is allowed to take place. जिसको हम पनीर कहते हैं. How do we make paneer? Milk, we add lemon juice या curd. लैक्टिक एसिड बेसिकली हमें डालना है, कोई भी एसिडिक कंटेंट डालना है, और एसिडिक कंटेंट से क्या होगा, सारे प्रोटीन्स जो है, सॉलिड्स जो है, वो एक्सट्रैक्ट आउट हो जाएंगे. सो दैट इज दिस प्रोसेस इज नोन एज कर्डलिंग, एंड बाय कर्डलिंग अ रॉ चीज इज फॉर्म. ओके, आई रिपीट, मिल्क plus lemon juice results in curdling, and curdling forms the raw cheese. Okay, then comes the unripened or cottage cheese. ठीक है, unripened cheese भी कहते हैं उसको हम, और cottage cheese भी कह सकते हैं. So what is cottage cheese? In this, what is taken? The skimmed milk is taken. सबसे पहले हमने skimmed milk लिया, और फिर उसके बाद we subject it to bacterial treatment. पहले हमने skimmed milk किया, then we added bacteria to it. So let's write the procedure how a skimmed milk is formed. So in skimmed milk formation, first is the oh god, skimmed milk we have to take, not it is not formed. In the formation of cottage cheese, what we have to do, how do we make cottage cheese? We take skimmed milk, and in skimmed milk we treat it with various bacteria. And what is this bacterial culture? It is called as the cheese culture. And this cheese culture comprises of Lactobacillus and Streptococcus plus Leuconostoc. So the three bacteria are combined together, that is Lactobacillus plus Streptococcus plus Leuconostoc. Okay, so all these three are combined together, and then what happens? Then they are when this happens, then renin is added after this, after treating them for some time, then renin is added after 1 to 2 hours, and this results in the formation of the cottage cheese. Okay, fine. So cottage cheese बनाने के लिए पहले skim milk लेंगे, bacterial cheese culture डालेंगे, 1 or 2 hours के लिए छोड़ देंगे. Okay, after it has been treated by these bacteria, then renin or rennet is added to it, and this results in the formation of the cottage cheese or unripened cheese. Ripened cheese कैसे बनाएंगे? This is the last topic I'll be taking. Okay, we still have time. Okay, let's proceed. So how will we make the ripened cheese?
मैम
Yes, बेटा.
मैम रेनिन तो मिल्क प्रोटीन को डाइजेस्ट करता है, तो हमने उसको क्यों लिया है?
तो हमें डाइजेस्ट करना है ना उसको चीज बनाने के लिए. We are digesting it a bit, इसलिए प्रोटीन्स थोड़े से सिंप्लीफाई हो जाए and cheese can be formed. Okay, that is why there's a whole lot of difference between this normal paneer and the cottage cheese and the ripened cheese. It doesn't seem similar. Softness, the amount of softening which is there is also very different. So that is why after adding renin, थोड़े से proteins degrade हो जाएंगे. They will not move away from there. They'll be degraded. They'll be broken down into simpler peptides. Okay, so that is why renin or rennet is added. Okay, then is ripened cheese. Now, how do we form ripened cheese? For first of all, we have to what is done? Unripened cheese is taken. What is brine? Brine is salt water solution. Okay, so it is dipped in. Dipping is done. So unripened cheese is taken, and then the dipping of that unripened cheese. जो अभी हमने बनाया था unripened या cottage cheese, इससे पहले जो बनाया था, उस चीज को लिया हमने, उसको हमने थोड़ी देर brine solution में dip करके रखा, and then what is done? Then it is matured with different strains of bacteria और fungi. Depending upon कि हमें कौन सी वाली चीज बनानी है, we use different cultures of bacteria and fungi, और अलग अलग bacteria और fungi को use करने पर different types of ripened cheese can be formed. ठीक है, तो सबसे पहले हमने unripened cheese बनाई. Unripened cheese को या तो हमने directly वैसे use कर लिया. If you want to develop into a ripened cheese, then ripened cheese में पहले उसको salt solution में dip करके रखा, and then we treat it with the appropriate type of culture from which we want to develop we want to grow the type of cheese that we want. So now on the basis of what all type of cultures can be used, the different ripened cheese can be of different types. Okay, so let's see what are the different types of ripened cheese. अब ये पोर्शन बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है क्योंकि इसमें स्विस चीज पर रोक्फोर्ट चीज पर कई बार बोर्ड में क्वेश्चन आते हैं. So ripened cheese can be of different types. The first type of ripened cheese is Swiss cheese. Okay, so what is this Swiss cheese? This Swiss cheese is formed when the unripened cheese is treated with Propionibacterium shermani. Sorry, Propionibacterium shermani. And what is the ability of this bacteria? This bacteria produces a large amount of carbon dioxide. ठीक है, ये डिग्रेडेशन तो करेगा ही, Okay, breakdown to करेगा ही of the proteins present, of the nutrients present in the cheese, and apart from that it will produce a large amount of carbon dioxide, क्योंकि carbon dioxide बहुत ज़्यादा बनती है, and this carbon dioxide when it escapes out, this results in big holes in Swiss cheese. So whenever you buy Swiss cheese, आप देखोगे Swiss cheese तो उसमें बड़े बड़े होल्स होते हैं. Remember that Tom and Jerry episodes we used to see? उसमें जब टॉम एंड जेरी की चीज के अंदर लड़ाई होती है तो उसमें इतने बड़े बड़े होल्स होते हैं चीज में. So the last cheese, old cheese must be the Swiss cheese. क्योंकि Swiss cheese में ही large holes होते हैं और बोर्ड में क्वेश्चन आता है. What is forming those holes? Why holes are found in the Swiss cheese? Okay, which type of bacteria, which type of microbe is used for development of Swiss cheese? Okay, so the name of this microbe, why it has holes, this both things are very important. Both में कई बार इसके questions आए. Okay, so the next type of, so this is ripened cheese, first type of ripened cheese, the Swiss cheese. Okay, let us see the next type of ripened cheese. The second type of ripened cheese is Roquefort cheese. Okay, so Roquefort cheese, it is produced by, obviously इसमें और कोई difference नहीं है, इसमें कोई बहुत बड़े बड़े holes नहीं होते हैं, but it is formed, it only depends upon कि हम कौन सा microbe ले रहे हैं for further degradation of this cheese. So yeah, we need to remember the name of the microbe. The name of the microbe is Penicillium roqueforti. Penicillium roqueforti is the name of the microbe which is used, or the bacteria which is used for the formation of Roquefort cheese. The third type of cheese, ये आपके book में नहीं दिया हुआ है, but you can note down the third type of ripened cheese is the Camembert cheese.
मैम,
Yes.
मैम ये जो हमने अभी पढ़ा रोकी चीज, तो मैम इसको अपना सिग्निफिकेंट ब्लू कलर कैसे मिलता है?
Because of the substances which are produced by penicillium. Okay, it is written in your NCERT that it has a blue color.
No ma'am, but I know.
So, okay, I'll find out why the blue color. Is it because of some metabolic degradation, or it is because of the substances produced by penicillium? I'll let you. Okay, let's find this out. Because yes,
ये बैक्टीरिया के एक्शन से बनता है या फंगाई के?
Penicillium notatum तो हाँ fungus. Penicillium is a fungus, so fungus के action से. Okay, so penicillium है तो obviously that. So Camembert cheese, again ये भी fungus से ही बनता है, penicillium fungus से ही बनता है. Penicillium camemberti. So this is the name of the fungus which is forming Camembert cheese. Okay. After this, the next type of household product which is very, very common is the bread. The bread which we are using. So bread is the last topic that we'll take today, and next we'll start with other foods and toddy. Toddy is also very, very important from both point of view. Okay. So what is bread? How is bread formed? How does the formation of bread takes place? Have you seen? Have you ever seen the bread, or found out the process of how this bread is formed? First of all, flour is taken, that is simple atta or maida, it is taken. Kneading is done with water, and along with that, some yeast extract is added to it. और जब yeast extract को डाल करके उसको normal temperature, that is, we keep it in warm temperature, then it swells up. That batter swells up, the flour swells up. And why does it swell up? Because of the oxygen which is the carbon dioxide which is produced, and yeast है तो alcoholic fermentation करेगा. Alcohol will be formed by the breakdown of glucose, and carbon dioxide will be formed. The escaping of this carbon dioxide swells up the batter. So how is bread formed? First is kneaded flour. Kneaded flour is added plus baker's yeast. And this baker's yeast is Saccharomyces cerevisiae. ये नाम याद रखना बहुत जरूरी है. Saccharomyces cerevisiae. CEREVISIAE. Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Okay, so when baker's yeast is added to it and it is left for some time, then what happens? The flour, it swells. Okay, and it is converted into a batter, and when this batter is baked, we get the bread. Okay, so what happens during this reaction? What is actually happening? Why it is swelling up? Whatever enzymes were present in the yeast, or the enzymes which are produced in the yeast, they were converting, they were breaking down the starch, and the starch was getting broken down. The breakdown of starch results in the formation of alcohol and carbon dioxide. And this alcohol, again, जिस समय हम इसको baking करते हैं, this alcohol also vaporizes. Further rising of the dough may take place, and carbon dioxide, when it leaves, it results in the formation of the porosity of the bread. So three types of enzymes are basically produced by yeast, and the three types of enzymes which are produced by this yeast are: first is amylase. The second type of enzyme which is produced by yeast is maltase, and the third is zymase. तो ये तीनों enzymes क्या करेंगी? Carbohydrates को degrade करेंगी. Okay, and result in fermentation. Right? So that is all about bread. How bread is formed. What are the enzymes present in yeast that result in the formation of bread. We'll start with other foods tomorrow, and then